All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a couple of real people out there just like you, just like me. All right, we're going to be talking about Paul Stanley, and maybe he shouldn't have wished Peter Criss a happy birthday because that didn't go so well. Anyway, before I get to that, House of Lords, this came out last year. Saints and Sinners. Yes, mostly sinners, folks. Sorry, but we're all sinners. Some of us saved by grace through the precious blood of Jesus Christ. If you're a believer, if you're a believer in great music too, you might enjoy House of Lords. Kind of a weird way to talk about House of Lords. They've been around since the 1980s. You might remember Can't Find My Way Home, the classic Blind Faith song. Well, House of Lords, they redid it, and typically I'm not too big on cover versions, but theirs was quite impressive. And this latest album here, very good, came out last year. As all of these melodic rock albums do, they tend to fly under the radar because there is no support system in place to promote them, which is really a shame. Kiss, however, they're into self-promotion. And even though they're done, unless you're looking forward to the Avatar version of Kiss, which I believe is coming soon, Paul Stanley wished Peter Criss a happy birthday. He's facing backlash over his remarks on the drummer's birthday. Paul Stanley shared a photo of Peter and wrote the following to his former bandmate. Happy birthday, Peter. Wishing you the best on your day. You are an irreplaceable part of the foundation of these past incredible 50 years of Kiss. He's irreplaceable, huh, Paul? You irreplaceable? Is that the word you chose? Should I say it a third time? Peter is irreplaceable. Okay, well, fans had a field day with this. One fan said, yet you didn't acknowledge him, Ace, Eric, Vinny, Mark, or Bruce during the last show. So Thayer and Singer have steered the ship for the past 25 years without the solid foundation that was created by Peter, Ace, Eric, Vinny, Mark, and Bruce. They're talking here about Eric Carr, Vinny Vincent, Mark St. John, Bruce Kulick, which Bruce, just an amazing musician. Another comment again referred to Criss's absence at the final show, expressing the irreplaceable part of Kiss that wasn't invited to play with them on the last New York City tour date. The following remark mentioned Stanley's irreplaceable comment and said, so irreplaceable, he was replaced twice. Of course, Paul will say, look, I said irreplaceable part of the foundation, right? But not later on. Remember, Gene Simmons remarked that, hey, it's Peter's fault he's not there. It's Ace's fault because they were drunkards and they were really bad and they didn't show up for work. Yet Ace is still out there performing. He's got a new album coming out. Peter, on the other hand, I think in recent years has had some health issues. So, by the way, no wishes for good health from Paul Stanley. Just like, hey, I've got to say something about Peter's birthday. So I'll just say the generic thing, and then I'll use the word irreplaceable. Here's another very sarcastic reply. These are pretty good. Typing that up was as easy as it would have been to say thank you to Peter during the last show. In other words, having Peter be there at the last show. Of course, even if he wasn't there, apparently, maybe Paul didn't thank. I don't know. I wasn't there at the last show. And to not honor those guys, It's just, I don't know. Toward the end of this whole end of the road, this make believe end of the road, which isn't ending because, again, it's just the end of the human version of Kiss, which in the year 2023, it's a little bit bizarre and awkward to talk about the human ending to something, and then you're going to have a non-human Kiss take over. Just, this is kind of weird, right? It is kind of weird, but in Kiss world, this will be like part 2. This will be the Mach 2 version of Kiss, although, yeah, the Mach 2 meaning the non-human Kiss. Some advice to Paul Stanley: maybe have someone proofread what you're going to say so you don't sound so tone deaf. I mean, and it's unfortunate because Peter's birthday isn't too long after the end of the road, at least this end of the road. Now, if they ever do another end of the road, which is a possibility, because you never say never with Kiss. I mean, Gene was complaining about how heavy the costume was, and he's walking around, and it's very difficult for a man his age to do this stuff. But yet he did it for many years. He may want to do it again because the money is just too good to turn down. And with fans thinking that it's the end of the road and then it's not, see, this is kind of like getting a jolt back, like, oh, I missed it, but hey, they're back, so I'll buy tickets. I'll do it again. A lot of fans thought that Peter and Ace would at least be there at the end. I mean, they do deserve to be there at the end. I mean, Paul's logic here, well, if he's so irreplaceable and you've acknowledged him on his birthday, why didn't you roll out the red carpet so he could show up for the last show? It's just weird, right? It's easier for him to just send out a message than it would have been to actually have him there at the show. And it doesn't make up for the fact that he wasn't at the show. It's just, it's the height of stupid. I'm sorry. I mean, someone should just be there to help Paul write these things. And maybe Gene to some extent too. Although I think Gene writes all his own stuff because, he's been just as mean about this situation. And even if these guys weren't very good worker bees for the Kiss franchise, again, why continue to throw shade at these guys when they were there at the beginning and they were very important? And I would say Ace is still somewhat viable as a musician, as a touring act, and as a spokesperson for the Kiss brand. So you should be a little more careful with this. Although, again, the business model here is to insult and make people talk about it, which I'm doing right now. So I'm essentially following the Kiss playbook, which is talk about them, keep them in the news. Even if it's not good publicity, it's still publicity. So anyway, folks, Paul Stanley getting probably what he deserves to some degree with these, tweets coming back at him. Here are the House of Lords, Saints and Sinners. Great melodic rock. I am going to continue to promote the new stuff that's out there that nobody knows about, apparently. I'll be doing it just as I've always done it, except I've decided to just focus on melodic rock and no other style. At certain times, I may make exceptions to that rule, but I'm not going to be talking about country. And I know some people will be thankful for that, even though, again, I love country music. I love blues. I won't be talking about blues, but I do love it. This particular format, I think, has taken the biggest beating since the early 1990s. So I'm going to be there as an advocate. I'm not getting any help from the record labels. So if you want to contribute to this channel, know that a portion of the funding for me and this channel goes to yours truly, where I'm out there purchasing new albums. And some of these CDs are pricey because, You have to go to places that, carry just a couple of copies. They think somebody here in the United States might actually want to buy a CD copy, or now and then I have to have it shipped over from Sweden. That's always fun, hoping that it will get here and that the post office doesn't keep it. That's happened a couple of times where they've sent it back. And I'm like, where's the CD? And they're like, well, we got it back. So yeah, this is the new normal. In the old days, you could go to Walmart or whatever store, Best Buy, and purchase whatever you want on CD, but now not so much. So again, supporting this channel helps me, but it will also help a few of you learn about new music out there. I need a physical copy to show everybody. That's the whole point. I told the record labels they don't do promos. So yeah, I'm an old radio guy. I want promos. So if you're a band and you can kind of subvert the process and get me a CD to promote, I'll give you a week's worth of exposure if it's good. If it's not so good, I'm going to say, I want to help you, but I got to be a little choosy, right? A little more choosy about stuff that I'm promoting. And it's just the way things are. But I'm rooting for the underdog always when it comes to melodic rock music. So again, thanks for watching the channel, and God bless everyone. And please pray for peace in the Middle East and around the world. No matter what side of what conflict you're on, the best thing to do is stop the war, stop the fighting so people don't die, and try to negotiate an end to the insanity. And also pray for peace in your heart as we live in a world that's in constant turmoil. See you soon.